We got Jessica I back here on the program who's going to be taking on Katlyn Chookagian at UFC 231 on December 8th. Jessica, how's it going today?
It's not bad. A little annoyed by modern technology, but it's okay. I guess that happens.
Yeah, I got to give you props. You really tough through it. You've had some issues with the Mac. I hate Apple products. They always link everything up. It's super confusing. So first off, got to thank you for trucking through it.
Yeah, I've like been more towards like moving towards like Samsung Galaxies and stuff. Like I've been thinking about it, like making that switch. And I've had my MacBook for quite some time now. It's 6 years old, but it's been great. But right now I'm almost gonna switch products.
Okay.
That made me so mad. So whatever.
No, I hear you. I appreciate it, though. Before we talk about your fight, a lot has gone on in the flyweight division, and I know you have a lot to say about it. But first, we got to start with Sijara Eubanks missing weight. Just your reaction when you heard that she missed weight, and kind of her response after, sort of going after the fans a little bit.
Obviously, I mean, I'm not really surprised. When we had talks of that fight originally, months ago, back in July, we were talking about that, right? After I got back from Singapore. First thing I said is I've had people mess up on their weight cuts and then get sick right before the fight or get pulled out. Like, and plus she doesn't have a good track record. Like, I felt that it wasn't necessarily the fight for me. And let alone I don't want to fight someone who doesn't make weight. Like there's a reason for weight classes. There's a reason for things to be that way. I mean, you don't go to the grocery store and your total's $20 and you say, "Hey, I'll give you 15. Let's negotiate it." That's not how things work. There's a reason for certain things. So I think she really put her foot in her mouth with some of the things that she says. And MMA fans are all about like put up or shut up. And if you can't put up or shut up, and then you on top of it insult them, they're not going to stand beside you.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And let's go back even further. Initially she was offered a title shot against Valentina Shevchenko. How did you find out about that news, and what did you think about her getting that shot?
I found out about like the rest of you guys did on the internet, and I expressed my frustration and my how I felt towards Dana and Mick. Well, first poor Sean Shelby, right? Like I called him first, and he's the only one who picked up the phone, and I kind of snapped at him, and he's like, "Jess, I don't do the women anymore. You know that." And I was like, "I know. I was just mad. Like, what's going on? Like, I feel like I've been a good company person. Like, what's going on?" He's like, "I don't know. Get a hold of Mick." And then after I harassed Mick and called him like a scorned ex-girlfriend a million times, he called me back, and we talked about it, and obviously you guys saw the rest of it unfold the way that it did.
Yeah, no, it certainly did. Were you ever offered a title shot against Valentina, or no? I guess it was just Sijara.
No, but I asked multiple times, you know what I mean? Like they knew how I felt about the title shot. I went after the Jess fight, had my own conversation with Dana, asked for a new contract and asked for the title shot. And what was told to me was, no, we got to make a ranked fight happen. And then, my argument was, since when does rankings ever matter in a title fight? In particular on this one, it did, because of course, like everybody's like, oh, Jessica lost 4 straight in the bantamweight division against the top girls in the weight class. And most of them either were the Ultimate Fighter winner or Olympian or, the previous champ of the organization. So nobody cares about asterisks. You know what I mean? They only care about what you did. So I said, fine, and I went out, won the 2 fights and did what I have to do. And apparently that, wasn't good enough to earn me the title shot. So, here we are again. Originally we were supposed to be fighting Sarge December 29th on the 232 card, signed for that. And then obviously the mix up happened, and then more mix up happened. And now it's me and Kahujigan December 8th in Toronto. So it wasn't like anything we originally thought or said it was going to be. However, the meeting with Dana, Mick, and Sean was, or not Sean, sorry, don't know Sean, so we don't attack Sean. Mick and Dana was both like, if I'm not getting the title shot, I feel that I have, what puts me in the best way to earn it. So Sarge was who we went up against, or we're going to go up against. And then obviously that fell through. And then Kahujigan was the next one, because obviously Kahujigan makes weight.
I know you were on Ariel Helwani's show months ago. This was before all this was even set up, and I know that you were working a bit with Ali Abdelaziz. Was that for the Sijara Eubanks fight? Because I saw when I saw him with you, I figured he was managing you or something, but it doesn't seem like the case.
No, I mean, of course, like I've been managerless. I've been managerless for years. Mine and Stipe's manager, who we originally had for all those years. Um, some things, bad things happen, and Stipe went with Jim Walters and a couple other people. I didn't feel that they were the fit for me at the time. And also I was in a transitional period of my career, and so then Ali had actually, just been really kind and reached out to me after the fight and was like, "Man, Jess, great fight. You did a great job." And I was like, "I hear nothing but great things about you. I would love to sit down and meet with you. I'm managerless." My Alex Cooper, one of my boxing coaches who we see in mine and Stipe's corner, he was like, "Jess, like I think that you're getting a little bit bigger now, and I can't do some of these things for you, and I'm doing you a disservice." So met with Ali that same week that I met with Dana, and got my new contract. And we originally were going to work together. We were in that meeting, when Sarge was originally offered, and, it wasn't what he wanted. So he didn't want Sarge to fight me. And we just, we talked a couple times, and I said to him, I can't work with you if you work with someone else in that division. And he agreed. Ali was great to me. He was super kind. He has my support with every other one of his fighters besides Sarge. And I joke with him. I'm like, well, when she does you in, just, I'm your girl. Just let me know if you want to come work with me. But I'm back to managerless again. And we didn't sign anything, and he knew how I felt about the manager situation and what I was willing to give up. Like I think that the manager situation is always a fine line to walk with any fighter. And there needs to be camaraderie and trust there. And I can't trust a manager that manages other women in the flyweight division. I don't even want to work with other sponsors that work with other women. And it's like, do you want to share your husband or wife? Do you want to share your kids? Like this is something special. I feel like that's what makes good managers, is when they can dedicate the time to, that one weight class or that one person.
Has that relationship changed at all since the social media back and forth between you and Sijara, or is it the same?
No, I respect Ali and I like him, and I think he's a great manager. He manages one, Cody Garbrandt, who was one of the other, main reasons is, I was like, damn, like Cody really has it made with that guy. Maybe I'm missing the beat with it. So no, not really. I'm sure he doesn't appreciate me saying the things that I say about her, but he gave me some advice and told me I need to chirp a little bit more. So I've been chirping.
Okay. No, yeah, I meant sort of on his end, like if he was upset with some of the stuff you're saying.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, no, there was no, we've got nothing but kind words. Like, when it boils down to it, he seems like the kind of guy, like, don't do me wrong. I don't do you wrong. And, I didn't do anybody. I haven't done anybody wrong. I'm on my own business. Probably one of the few females in the division, and few fighters in the division that just kind of minds my own business.
No, that works out well. Let's talk about this fight, though. So much to talk about. It's a big matchup. First off, if I'm not mistaken, first time fighting in Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first time I've been in Canada since I turned 19 and did the whole 19-year-old celebration.
Oh,
so
yeah? No way.
Yeah. So this is the first time I've been back there since my 19th birthday. And yeah, it's been years. It's crazy because when we were talking about it, I was like, oh, yeah, you do need a passport to go up there.
Let's talk about the matchup. Katlyn Chookagian, 11-1 record. She's done pretty well in the flyweight division. How do you feel like you match up against her?
I think it's a good matchup, right? Because we're two totally different, like, fighters. I feel like she doesn't do anything I do, and I don't do anything that she does. I love fighting tall fighters. So I like, contradictory to, most people, they're like, oh man, a taller fighter. Well, my boxing coach is 6'1". So the challenge of being a 6 foot tall, boxing trainer with a 5'6" athlete there's some challenges there. But I get it, right? Like I get tall fighters. So I think it's a great matchup. I think we've got a lot of New York ties. She knows a lot of New York people that I know. I was up there training before this fight got, because I was originally supposed to fight Sarge, then, the changes happened. I was up there training in New York with Ray Longo, which I adore those guys, and my friend Jenny, who's in Glory. Katlyn's strength coach comes over to me and was like, dang, you got some big legs. And asked me what I walked around at. And I was like, I didn't answer that question, but I think that's something I do have an advantage on her at is my strength and my athletic ability. I think her strength coach saw that. Or he's trying to tell me I got a nice butt. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, one of the two. Plus, you're not supposed to ask a woman how much they weigh, right? Isn't that rude?
Unfortunately, in our sport, that doesn't count. And I'm a fighter and I weigh in too much. So
Oh, right. Okay.
they're
Yeah, fair
like,
enough.
they're always like, you're 25. And they say it like inquisitive enough. And I'm like, come on. We all know I'm not what I look like when I weigh in right now.
Right. Okay.
I'm not 125.
How are you structuring this training camp? Is it just business as usual at Strong Style and everything else?
There's a lot that's changed. A lot. I've been spending a lot more time in the wrestling room and with the wrestling community. Um, Not because of a style matchup, but because it used to be my weakness, and now like I'm falling in love with it, and I absolutely love wrestling. It's kind of gear changed for me and made me find like the sixth gear for myself, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to see how my striking has gotten better because I've able to unleash a new ability. So like, my ability to change levels, my ability to shoot takedowns properly, and really it's been that, it's been about being better for myself and being more innovative. So I spent some time working with some new wrestlers and with my old nutritionist, who's a longtime friend of mine, who he used to be a fighter, then geared towards more bodybuilding and just towards body mechanics and stuff. And I've been able to work with him and more in my off season and even into this camp that I feel like my strength has really increased and it's exciting. So
And does that weight cut start now, even though the fight's a ways away?
it's not a weight cut, but it's like a nutrition program. So like I don't cut weight until Thursday night before the fight because cutting weight is just cutting weight. You know what I mean? Like that's just cutting weight and then, restart like making that water bit. But like, no, for me, it's just eating clean. You know what I mean? Monitoring my portion sizes, like I'm a firm believer in weighing out your food. So, I mean, if I'm trying to figure out how many gallons of gas I need to get to my destination, I got to know exactly how I'm feeling. So I kind of use that method. If I'm 125 pounds is my main goal, then I eat 125 grams of protein, eat 125 grams of carbs, which, gears that fat, the almost like fast tracked for my metabolism. So it's worked for me and it's, really, really works out. I've got a lot of help in Cleveland. Cleveland really has been great to me.
And another big part of training camp is recovery. I know you're using the CBD oil, the Terphouse stuff. How's all that going? And what's sort of your go-to right now for recovery?
Well, CBD is great, and I see other fighters like trying to get the TUE for Canada to be able to use, medical and, medicinal marijuana, which, is obviously something, I'm a huge believer in Terphouse and the CBD oils, but, I feel like you can't do one without the other. So THC and CBD are best friends, and two are better than one. So I utilize all of the Terphouse's products, how I can.
Yeah, and
and as I
you know
can.
everything's legal up here in Canada now. You heard about that?
Yeah, that's why I said medically and medicine,
Yeah,
or
there you go.
medically and, medicinally, you're able to use it both ways. Yeah. I mean, that would be great, for all the fighters to get, a TUE, for fight week. That'd be incredible.
I agree. Everyone.
I mean, if we're up there paying taxes,
Exactly.
why not?
Yeah.
Right? You guys are taking taxes right out of our check right away. I mean, why can't I be a Canadian citizen and reap all the benefits? As well, fight week. You almost have to wonder what some of these fighters that aren't allowed to use on fight week, how incredible their bodies would feel. And a better body means a better performance. So I think we're getting there. We're getting there with everybody. Terphouse has been a huge front runner. I think everybody's seeing them more often, and they quit being embarrassed by being like, oh, I'm the only fighter that uses CBD oil on their stuff. And now it's like, oh, I don't want to be the only fighter not using my CBD oil.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're seeing way more people, including a couple of your teammates. I think Jeff Hughes and I know Devontae Smith, who used to train with you guys, is also using it too.
It's again, it's going back to like seeing things so universally used, and fighters being okay with talking about it. Like there was such a stigma for so many years. I mean, me being one of the people that failed for marijuana. And I actually what was in my body was cannabinoids. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have high laces of THC. They had the cannabinoid, which basically means like low trace, the lowest possible traces you can have in there. So again, I'm excited to keeping, on the front running for CBD as well as, THC use, in the UFC as well as all athletes. I mean, obviously the NBA has it right. And those guys are great. Those guys are some of the highest paid athletes out there.
How do you see this fight playing out on December 8th?
I play it out in my mind every single time because my sparring partners, are not always the same. So, every day I might have a tall sparring partner, I might have a short sparring partner, might have a wrestling sparring partner, might have a boxing sparring partner. I think that I can envision this fight going multiple different ways, but all in my favor. So I really want to show people what I already know. And I also want to show myself, which is more important than anything, that this has been the division I've been waiting for. And I keep saying to everybody like, oh, look at me. Like I'm supposed to be a 25 or give me 25, give me 25. I would be a fool and be putting my foot in my mouth if I wasn't, doing the things that I said that I would do. And I've already proven that twice. And I can't wait to keep proving it, because it's giving me all the ammunition I need to make my life better.
Sticking with predictions, there's a title fight on your card, obviously, between Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Valentina Shevchenko. Who's your pick in that fight? Who do you think wins that one?
Valentina. Size is a thing. Size is a thing. I've gone with other 15 pounders, and size is a thing, especially when it comes to us women. Not even just us women, but men in general. But I think that Valentino's power is going to stop JJ's ability to be a point fighter. And that's what we've seen happen in the Rose fight. Those power shots stop a point fighter, and you can't be a point fighter against a power shot. So I see Valentino winning. Maybe that's why we're on the card. Maybe that's why the winner of our fight.
And I was going to say that could be an opportunity as well. If someone falls out of that fight, you could step in there for sure.
I don't know. It seems like they've been doing that more often these times. So,
there you go.
I mean,
might be onto something. There you go.
I am very much ready for five fives. It would be a dream come true to actually get a fight a 5-5. But yeah, I mean, we're preparing for anything. We'll be ready for anything. We will make champion weight to do it for our own mental, awareness, but to do it to prove a point to the UFC. We're ready whenever, and to prove to the rest of the division.
Is this the fight that gets you the title shot, do you think? If you get the win here, especially with what's happened with Sijara, do you feel like the title shot is yours after a win here?
I would like to think so. I mean, I went from originally supposed to be fighting the number 4 girl to the number 3 girl. Then the number 2 girl, moved, or the number, like Nico hasn't made weight. Sijara hasn't made weight. And I think some of this division's, filled up with some OG bantamweights, and I feel like this is home for me. I really feel like this division is mine, and I don't care if the rest of the world doesn't believe it. I do, and that makes me fierce. So, and I know that there's a lot of people that believe that. And yesterday at the Browns game, there were 60,000 people that believed in me. So I feel a little fierce from that today.
Love it. Last question. Big news, obviously, is that Demetrius Johnson was traded from the UFC 2-1 championship for Ben Askren. What was your reaction to that?
We trade now? That was like instantly. That's what it sounds like. We trade now?
Apparently, yeah.
We're trading? Like, that's crazy. Like, but wouldn't that be sweet though? Like, if one, they, like ONE FC, like then Bellator and UFC all got on like the same, almost like, I mean, not to say the same exact pay, but like got in the ability that like we could trade back and forth. Like then we could have real world titles, right? Like, cause then that would that would take that away from the Ali act, right? Like from all that, right? Then we'd allowed to have real, true world champs in the world, right? I mean, I don't know how we could do that, but these belts would be
Universal. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying.
universal,
Yeah.
and they would be better, right? Like, and then you'd get real top level against top level. I love, like, even this past weekend we saw Ben Saunders and
Lyman Good.
Wyman Good. Like, I remember fighting on a card with them in Bellator when I was, there years ago. And then to see guys like Eddie Alvarez, who have basically got to fight in all the division or all the different organizations, like, that's incredible. That's really, really cool.
Who would you like to see traded to the UFC if they continue to do more of this?
I think I have to get a little bit more familiar with some of the other fighters in the divisions. Like, I mean, I know that was it the Ashley MMA? I think I follow her. She's the big 125er over there in Singapore, right? She's there. Is that who it is? Ashley, right?
I think it's. I think you mean. Are you talking the girl from One Championship?
Yeah, or One Championship. Yeah, they got
Angela.
some good
Or, sorry,
25ers.
is it?
Angela.
Angela
Yeah,
Lee.
that's
Not to
her.
be confused with Andrea Lee, because there's an Andrea Lee in the UFC.
Angela Lee. Yeah, that's who it was. I think I follow her on social media. Like, she's, she'd be great at. Like, she's actually a reputable 25er. Maybe that's somehow, ability to, like, bring over some talent, as well as, like, Bellator got back open with the women's 125 division, and it's got a lot of actually real 25ers in that division. Maybe we could build a women's powerhouse division.
I like that. And I like this fight. This is going to be great. It's UFC 231 coming up here December 8th. Jessica, I really appreciate the time today. I know we went over, and I know this is your rest day, so I can't thank you enough. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Well, you can find me on all social media. It's so easy. It's Jessica Evil Eye. Doesn't get much harder or easier than that. So anybody can follow me on Twitter, IG, as well as my website, jessicaevileye.com. We're still going through some changes with it, so bear with us, but it is there, and you could check out some stuff. And a huge shout out to Brandon at Terphouse. What they've done, they've been great game changers. He kind of stuck beside me when other sponsors left during those losing stages of my life. And it really showed that, Brandon is a really stand-up guy. And loyalty is something, that means a lot to him. So I appreciate Brandon tremendously and his family, as well as Terphouse. Keep changing the game. And yeah, my friends and family, everybody's been nothing but great to me. I'm very fortunate.